This is History of the Future, my speculative writing series where I create an expansive sci-fi universe based on real-world knowledge set 1,000 years into the future during humanity's spacefaring days. In the past few videos, I brought you all an in-depth look into the processes I went through in order to build each star system so far. But I thought today I'd try reformatting it a bit into an almost documentary-style narration where I'll focus more on the in-world history rather than the meta-storytelling aspects of it. Of course, I'm still going to be showing off my speed art for each conceptual piece I do. Today, we visit the 6 planets in the Procyon system. Procyon is a binary star system, the major star of which is an F-type star, just a fraction larger than our Sun. And its companion is a white dwarf star with 0.6 solar masses. But as these stars often are, miraculously it takes up a size only slightly larger than the Earth. The planets in this star system go as follows. Perseus is a small barren world with almost no atmosphere that lies right up close to its star. Eros is a super-Earth planet with a thick sulfuric atmosphere caused by its heavy volcanic activity. The third planet, Hephaestus, used to be a twin to Eros in the ancient past. However, in modern times, its volcanic activity has died, and now this hot, dry world finds itself covered in iron-rich deserts and basalt flows frozen in time. The fourth planet lies at the innermost edge of the habitable zone, but is anything but. Its atmosphere's high pressure causes hellish temperatures and a large concentration of water clouds that build up in its atmosphere that cause huge, constant thunderstorms. The fifth planet, and probably the best known of the planets in the system, is the inhabited ocean world called Lapi-Atla, and compared with its planetary neighbors, it has a rich and fascinating history relating to human colonization. Lapi-Atla sits at the outer edge of the habitable zone and also orbits at the inner edge of the star system's asteroid belt, causing a large percentage of meteorological activity on this world. Quite a distance beyond this belt is an unremarkable white-green gas giant called Gordoa, and its ice moon companion Andromi. Now knowing this star system's layout, let's dive further into what living in this system might be like, starting with the inhabited worlds and then moving into the uninhabited ones. The first inhabited world is of course Lapi-Atla, also known as the world of blue oceans. Most starship voyages would take travelers through the world's main public starport, New Atlanta, where folks would either stay in the city or take the planet's vast monorail system to the city that is their final destination. The cities here on Lapi-Atla are built on a stilt and raft system. Each city stays afloat atop a massive multi-mile wide set of rafts, and the cities are kept in place by hydraulically controlled stilts that anchor the cities to the ocean floor. There is no point on Lapi-Atla's surface where land exists, unless you count the seasonal ice sheets of the poles. Speaking of the poles, you may have noticed looking at the map that the planet's cities are concentrated around the poles. And no, it's not because its inhabitants enjoy the cold. Lapi-Atla orbits close to the Procyon asteroid belt, if you remember, and as such, massive meteorites are a common sight above the planet's equatorial seas. This seemingly inhospitable trait was easily overcome, however, as this planet's equator aligns perfectly with the system's asteroid belt, meaning that the poles largely stay asteroid impact-free. The one monorail track that runs trans-equatorial is buried under the sea floor, protecting travelers who wish to visit the smaller cities at the South Pole. When diving into the cold waters of this planet, one might expect, due to its similarity to Earth's polar oceans, that there would be seas teeming with life. And in the modern day, you would be right. Although Lapi-Atla is habitable to humans with a breathable atmosphere, life never developed under its oceans, to our knowledge. It is theorized that the fact that the planet has no moons, it is colder than Earth, and has such a high rate of K2 impactors near the equator, squashed any chance of life far before it could have ever gotten started. This gave early humans a unique opportunity to bring sea life from Earth's oceans to this planet, and as such, this world exhibits multiple groups of Earth animals. Narwhals and whales being some of the most common sights, but further south, swordfish and other open ocean animals thrive and grow multiple sizes bigger than their Earth varieties do. Multiple large fishing companies call Lapi-Atla their home, and this has become the planet's primary industry over the years. Lapi-Atlan tuna is regarded as a delicacy across the USSE, and is actually preferred by sushi chefs, as the mix of artificially placed species and the colder temperatures of Lapi-Atla's oceans mean that parasites are less common on game fish from this world. Of course, Lapi-Atla is the most famous of all of the planets in the system, for good reason, but it's not the only colonized world. That designation goes out to Andromi, the ice moon of Gordoa. Although Gordoa has no economic draw of its own, with an atmosphere with little to no hydrogen, it finds itself at the mid-flight point between the stargates of Sirius to the galactic east, and the famous Cade system to the west. The most common stop for travelers is an orbital space station that is found above the moon. However, there is a small port on the moon for those wishing to take a longer and cooler stay. The spaceport here is built in a ravine sheltered from cosmic radiation, and the flat landing area is whipped across with sub-zero winds that make existing outside on this world a thoroughly unpleasant experience. That is, until you reach the city, a nice reprieve from the biting cold of the exposed landing zones. The city here is built in and around the starport and exists under the ground. It is famous for its resorts and bars and restaurants, which act as a popular time waster for travelers who find themselves on layovers on this world. It would be technically wrong to say that the nightlife here is famous, as this far out from the star, the only indicator of the passing of time are human clocks. The final subject of this video would be the 4 uninhabited planets in the star system's blazing hot center, a far cry from the colder planets known most by the people of the USSE. The closest world to the star, if you remember, is Perseus, a barren world with no atmosphere. Its silicate sands have been blasted through the millennium by the star's solar radiation, causing the dark black and blue appearance. The shifting temperatures between the night and day side cause just enough pressure for weak dust devils to form at dawn and dusk. With few landmarks, there isn't much to stop these dust devils as they go roaming across the barren surface. With no seismic activity to form a protective magnetosphere of its own, the bulk of this planet's atmosphere has been blown away. What little is left of its thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide is hundreds of times weaker than Earth's. Its atmosphere can only really be observed visually by the pale blue sunsets that happen every few weeks on this planet. The second world out from the binary stars is the super-Earth-sized planet called Eros. It has the opposite problem that Perseus has, and that is its heavy volcanic activity that causes its active core to churn, and the magnetosphere that results is one of the strongest ever seen on a terrestrial world. Landing upon this planet would not be recommended by any stretch of the imagination, but were you to venture into this world, the first thing that you would observe is the effect that the magnetosphere would have on your ship's onboard computers. Of course, magnetic anomalies are commonplace when traveling through space, and therefore any ship that you could get your hands on nowadays would most likely be more than capable of withstanding a journey through the tangle of magnetic stressors. However, it would definitely be difficult to get any comm systems or navicomputers to work 100% right. Descending through the thick and stormy atmosphere to the black sand surface, the temperatures here rival planets like Venus, and little light reaches the surface, making the planet's daytime about as bright as a night lit by the full moon on Earth. Should you be smarter than most who try to land on this planet and land on one of the planet's vast deserts, the constant rumble of far-off volcanoes would give the world an eerie atmosphere, a place that, even were you crazy enough to go to, no one would be stupid enough to stay for very long. The third planet in the system, Hephaestus, has an atmosphere with about half the density of Earth's, but remains hotter than the hottest deserts on Earth. Dropping below the 100s only at night, the planet is pimpled with dead volcanoes and hints of its more active past. Unlike its hellish neighbor Eros, Hephaestus has an increasingly weak magnetosphere that shows off the signs of its dying planetary core. Its sands are a fine powder when compared to Earth, meaning that dust storms are far more common on this world, and happen seasonally on this planet, lasting for months on end. Large swaths of basaltic rock cover the surface, and are year by year slowly eroded away by the spring and summertime sandstorms. The final planet that we'll visit in this video is the fascinating Earth-sized world known as Aphrodite. The planet's entire surface is shrouded in clouds of water vapor. The constant rain and storms that the surface experiences must lead you to think that under its clouds lies a vast ocean of water, and although that's what scientists once thought, you could not be further from the truth. The rocky surface of this planet sports a planet-wide temperature greater than that of the boiling point of water, and therefore, bodies of water cannot collect on this planet's oven-like surface. Instead, vast towering pillars of rock stretch like mile-high fingers out of the gloom, illuminated by crashes of thunder. They create a bizarre landscape of pillar-like chasms that stretch across the lowlands of this planet's surface. The pillars here are caused by millions of years of constant erosion from rainfall, carving out these beautiful and bizarre structures. The mountain ranges here on Aphrodite rise far into the stormy sky, and only the tallest of which peak above the hellish cloud cover. Occasionally, here at the tips of these mountains, will temperatures reach somewhere close to safe for people. Although there is no settlement on this planet for obvious reasons, the peaks of the tallest mountains, Edomons, Makalismons, and Gionomons, make popular landing spots for daring pilots during the planet's week-long deep winter, when the peaks of these reach record-low temperature and humidity points of 85 degrees Fahrenheit and 70% humidity, respectively. Although our journey of exploring the star systems of the far future is far from over, we have seen much of what the Procyon system has to offer, and as such, I feel like it is a good place to wrap it up for now. Each of the worlds of the Procyon system seems to have its own unique setting to offer, and as such has been one of my favorite systems to work on so far. For those of you who have waited since March for this entry in History of the Future, I thank you all so much. These videos take a lot of time and effort, as I do a lot of research to make these star systems as scientifically plausible as possible. I'm sure many of you have observed the presentational shift that I took with this video, and many more of you may have observed the similarities between this video and the videos that can be found on the Curious Archive YouTube channel. And that's on purpose. I take a huge amount of inspiration from them over there, and if you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend that you go check them out. They create documentary-style content telling the stories of speculative biology by exploring fictional alien planets and their biospheres. The link for their channel will be in the description below. Anyways, I hope you all liked that video, because there's a lot more like it on the way. In the next video, we'll visit the city planet known as Arjun in the 61 Cygni system, as well as, of course, its planetary companions. So I'll see you all next time in the bustling skylines of that planet. But for now, if you liked this video and want to see more like it, then subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified when I upload next.